Have you ever felt your heart race when English words slip away in an important moment? You want to speak clearly and feel confident, yet every time you try something holds you back. I know that frustration when you study, but still hesitate to open your mouth. Imagine the relief when you can speak without fear, when your voice carries strength through every sentence. In this video, we will guide you step by step to break that cycle, to build powerful, life-changing confidence and skills. From day one, you'll learn simple daily habits that fit into your life and help you think swiftly in English, connect with others deeply, and truly speak naturally. This journey is packed with meaningful, eye-opening tips that tackle your fears head-on and instantly unlock your true potential. Stay with us until the end, and you'll walk away ready to take daily action. Chapter 1. Speak English every day to build real confidence. You want to speak English better, you want to be confident, you want to be understood, and you want to understand others. That's powerful, that's meaningful, that's human, that's how progress begins. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is this. No one gets better at speaking by staying silent. You can read books, study grammar, and listen to lessons, but if you don't speak English out loud every day, you will always stay on the sidelines of your own growth. Speaking is not just a skill, it's a habit, and like any habit, it gets stronger with repetition. But you know what happens to most people? They wait. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until their English is perfect. They wait until someone invites them into the conversation. And what they don't realize is that every day they stay silent, they are building the wrong habit. The habit of doubt, the habit of hesitation, the habit of fear. You don't get confident by waiting, you get confident by doing. Now maybe you're thinking, but I don't know who to speak to. I live alone. I don't have English-speaking friends. I understand. I really do. That's why I'm telling you, speak to yourself. Speak to the mirror. Speak to your phone. Speak to your dog. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you use your voice. You must hear yourself speak. You must become familiar with the sound of your own English. Because the more you speak, the more your brain starts to work with you, not against you. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be consistent. That's where growth lives. That's where change begins. You don't become a confident speaker by having perfect grammar. You become confident by using the words you know again and again until they become part of you. Confidence is built through action. It is not given to you by anyone else. You earn it by showing up every day and saying, "Today I speak." It's going to feel strange at first. That's normal. Your voice may shake, you might forget words, you might feel embarrassed. But remember this, every expert was once a beginner who kept going. Don't wait for your fear to disappear before you take action. Speak through the fear. Speak through the mistakes. Speak when it's uncomfortable. Because every time you do, you're getting stronger. You're building something inside you that cannot be taken away. Some people say, but what if I make a mistake? Good. That means you're trying. That means you're alive. That means you're doing the real work. Making mistakes is a sign of growth. It means you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And there's no progress without discomfort, no clarity without confusion. So, speak. Speak even when it's messy. Speak even when it's broken. Because broken English spoken with courage is more powerful than perfect silence. Now let me ask you something. How many minutes a day are you spending speaking English out loud? Not just thinking about it, not just listening, speaking. If your answer is 0, then your progress will remain stuck. If it's 10 minutes, you're already ahead of most. If it's 30 minutes, now you're on fire. You're starting to build momentum. And when you build momentum, life begins to shift. You begin to believe in yourself. You begin to notice improvement. your mind becomes sharper, your confidence rises, and suddenly you are no longer the same person who was afraid to open their mouth. Every day is a new opportunity to practice, and not someday, not next week, today. Because the truth is, if you don't do it today, you probably won't do it tomorrow. And you know how time works. It doesn't wait for anyone. Every day you speak English, you're building not just your language, but your character, your discipline, your belief in yourself. And that changes everything. Here's what I would tell anyone who wants to speak English better. Stop worrying about being judged. People who laugh at your mistakes are not your people. The people who really matter will respect your effort. They'll see your dedication. They'll admire your courage. So, speak. Not for their approval, but for your own growth. Speak because you are worthy of being understood. Speak because you matter. Speak because your voice carries power. Now I want you to picture something. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Imagine you've been speaking English every day for 12 months. What would that version of you sound like? Would your sentences flow more easily? Would you feel less nervous? Would you speak up in meetings? Would you travel with more confidence? That version of you exists, and you can reach it, but only if you start today. Only if you speak today. Only if you commit. Not just once, but every single day. Think about the small things you can do. When you wake up, say your thoughts out loud in English. When you're cooking, describe what you're doing in English. When you're walking, talk about what you see. Use your environment as your teacher. Use your daily life as your practice ground. You don't need fancy tools. You don't need perfect conditions. You need consistency. You need courage. You need a decision. Every word you speak in English is a step forward. Every sentence is a brick in the foundation of your new voice. So, speak, not just with your mouth, but with your heart. Speak because you have something to say. Speak because you believe that improvement is possible. And it is. I've seen people go from fear to fluency, not because they were lucky, but because they chose to speak every single day without excuses. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. You don't need a big vocabulary. You need commitment. You need focus. And you need the will to get up every day and say, today, I will speak English. Not for a test, not for approval, but for your growth, for your future, for your confidence. That's how transformation happens. So, from this moment on, I want you to make one promise to yourself. A simple one. Every day, no matter how busy, no matter how tired, no matter how uncertain, you will speak English for at least 10 minutes. Out loud, with intention, with energy, with belief. That small action, repeated daily, will do more for your confidence than any course, any book, any lesson. Why? Because it's real. It's you. It's progress, built through action. That's how you improve. That's how you grow. That's how you rise. Speak every day. Speak with purpose. Speak like your future depends on it. Because it does. And if you stay with it, if you refuse to quit, your voice will grow strong, your words will come easier, and your confidence will shine. Speak every day to build real confidence. Because your voice matters. You matter, and the world is waiting to hear you. Chapter 2. Listen to native speakers and repeat what they say. If you want to improve how you speak English, you need to pay close attention to how native speakers use the language. Not just what they say, but how they say it. Every sound, every pause, every tone. You see, when we're learning something new, we often focus on what we already know. But the real growth happens when you step outside your usual patterns and tune in to what's real, what's natural, what's fluent. Listening is a skill, but it's not just about hearing words, it's about absorbing. It's about noticing. It's about becoming a student of sound. If you want to speak English clearly, you must first listen with purpose. You must listen to understand how real people speak. Not in textbooks, not in exams, in real life, on the street, in conversations, in videos, in podcasts, in interviews. These are your new teachers. Start by choosing native speakers you enjoy listening to. Maybe it's someone who teaches, someone who entertains, or someone who shares stories. Pay close attention. Watch their mouth movements. Feel the rhythm. Notice the speed. You're not just listening with your ears. You're training your brain to recognize the patterns of real speech. And the next step is simple, but powerful. Repeat what they say, not just once, not just in your mind, out loud, with your voice. When you repeat what native speakers say, you are giving yourself one of the most effective forms of language training. You are practicing the exact pronunciation. You are copying the natural rhythm. You are strengthening the muscle memory of your mouth. That's how fluency is built, by doing the thing again and again, until it becomes natural. Just like a musician trains by playing great music, you train by repeating great speakers. But here's the key. Don't just repeat words. Repeat entire phrases. Repeat how they rise and fall in tone. Repeat the energy they bring to each sentence. Say it until it sounds like them, then say it until it sounds like you. This is not imitation. This is training. This is building a new skill through action. When you listen and repeat, your speaking ability transforms in a very real way. You begin to develop what we call instinct. You no longer need to think so hard. You don't freeze when speaking. You don't get stuck looking for words. Your brain begins to respond automatically. Why? Because you've trained it with real input. You've trained it with repetition. You've trained it with the sound of how English is actually used. And something even more important begins to happen. You start to understand meaning beyond the words. You start to feel the emotion in someone's voice. You understand when they're excited, when they're frustrated, when they're being serious or playful, and you begin to add those emotional layers to your own voice. That's what makes your English not only clear but powerful. That's when people stop just hearing your words and start feeling your message. Now you might say, but I'm shy, or I don't want to sound wrong. That's normal, but here's the truth. You will never sound confident if you never speak out loud. You have to break through the hesitation. Don't try to sound perfect. Just try to sound honest. Try to sound present. Speak the way you would if no one was watching. The fear will pass, but only if you face it. Record yourself. Use your phone. Speak a sentence you heard. Play it back. Compare it to the original. Ask yourself, are the sounds clear? Is the tone close? Can I feel the same emotion in my version? This is real feedback. This is how professionals train. This is how you stop guessing and start growing. You don't need a classroom. You don't need a teacher in front of you. The world is full of English. It's everywhere. Your job is to listen deeply and repeat consistently. Set a goal, maybe 15 minutes a day. Choose a video, watch it once, then listen again and repeat each sentence. Pause. Rewind. Repeat. Feel the improvement as your voice begins to match the rhythm of fluent speakers. This kind of practice does something powerful to your confidence. When you hear yourself sounding better, you start believing in your ability, and belief is the beginning of everything. Once you believe you can speak well, you stop hiding, you stop doubting, you show up more, you engage more. And people notice that. They listen to you more, they respond better, you feel connected, you feel alive. Listening to native speakers also helps you learn things that books can't teach. You learn real expressions, real pronunciation, real ways people speak in everyday life. You stop translating in your head. You stop depending on grammar rules. You start living in the language. And that's the goal, to make English a living part of you, not just something you study. Every sentence you repeat becomes a brick in your new voice. Every moment you spend listening to real English gives you an edge. Most people never take this step seriously. They listen passively, but they don't repeat. They think they're learning, but they're not training. Don't be like most people. Be intentional. Be consistent. Be the kind of person who shows up daily, even if it's hard, even if it's slow. It's not about how fast you improve. It's about how deeply you commit. Speak clearly. Speak with energy. Speak with focus. And don't stop. One day, someone will tell you, your English is really good, and you'll smile, not because they noticed, but because you know the truth. You earned it. You practiced for it. You listened. You repeated. You got better one sentence at a time. That's how you grow. Not in big leaps, but in small daily efforts. You build strength. You build skill. You build belief. That belief changes how you show up in the world. That belief opens doors. It gives you options. It makes your life rich. Not just because your English is better, but because you became someone who didn't give up. Remember, you have the power to improve. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. Listen to native speakers every day. Repeat what they say. Train your ear. Strengthen your voice. That's how transformation begins. Not through luck, but through daily action. And every day you choose to do this, you are creating a new version of yourself. One who communicates clearly. One who expresses with confidence. One who doesn't stay silent out of fear. So keep listening. Keep repeating. Keep rising. The voice you're building is worth it, and the person you're becoming is stronger than you think. Chapter 3. Read out loud daily to strengthen your fluency. If you want to become fluent in English, one of the most powerful habits you can build is reading out loud every single day. Speaking is not just about knowing the words in your head. It's about training your mouth to deliver those words clearly and confidently. When you read silently, you only engage your eyes and your mind. But when you read out loud, you activate your whole speaking system. You practice pronunciation. You stretch your speaking muscles. You begin to hear the flow of the language, and you start building a rhythm that becomes natural with time. Daily reading out loud is not just about saying words. It's about learning how English moves through your voice. It gives you a chance to slow down and really feel the language. It allows you to see how words are put together and how they sound when spoken. You're not just reading, you're practicing, you're training. You're becoming a better speaker every day you commit to this practice. In the beginning, it might feel strange. You might struggle to say certain words clearly. You might get tired after a few sentences. That's normal. Fluency is not something you magically receive. It's something you earn. Just like a runner gets faster by running every day, a speaker becomes more fluent by speaking every day. And reading out loud is the perfect place to start. You don't need an audience. You don't need someone to correct you. You just need the courage to start. Choose something simple to read. It can be a short article, a story, a page from a book, or even a message on your phone. What matters is that you say the words out loud with care and attention. Take your time. Don't rush. Speak slowly and clearly. Focus on each sound. Try to sound natural. If you don't know how to say a word, stop and learn it. Use a dictionary with audio. Hear it, then repeat it, then go back and read the sentence again, this time with the correct pronunciation. This habit will improve not just your speech, but your confidence. The more you read out loud, the more you hear your own voice growing stronger. You begin to believe in your ability to speak clearly, and that belief will push you to speak more in real-life situations. Reading aloud gives you the foundation to express yourself when it matters. You also begin to develop better control over your breathing, your tone, and your speed. These are important parts of fluency that are often ignored. Speaking well is not just about words, it's about how you say them, the energy you put behind them, the feeling you deliver through your voice. When you read out loud with focus, you practice all of this without needing anyone else. And the best part is, you can do it anywhere, at home, in your room, in a quiet space, even for 5 or 10 minutes a day. That's enough to make a real difference over time. This is your private training ground, a place where you can try, make mistakes, and improve without fear. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up every day and speak with intention. As your voice gets used to speaking English, your brain will start processing the language faster. Words will come to you more easily in conversation. Sentences will form more naturally. You'll stop thinking so much and start responding more smoothly. All because you took the time to read out loud consistently. Make this a daily ritual. Make it part of your morning or your night. Don't treat it as something small. Treat it as something powerful. Something that builds your future. Because fluency is not built in a single moment. It's built in the quiet moments when you're alone with your book, your article, your thoughts, and your voice. And the kind of fluency you build by reading out loud is deep. It's lasting. It's not based on memorized scripts or practiced dialogues. It's based on real practice, real effort, real progress. It's the kind of fluency that stays with you in interviews, in presentations, in conversations, because you didn't skip the hard work. You did it, day by day. There's something powerful about hearing yourself speak. Connects your mind with your voice. It gives you proof that you're capable. It removes the distance between what you know and what you can say. Many learners know English in their heads, but cannot express it clearly. Reading aloud builds that bridge. It turns knowledge into spoken skill, and as you read more, you start learning the structure of English. You begin to understand how sentences are built, how thoughts are connected, how emphasis is placed. These are lessons that are hard to learn from grammar books alone. But when you speak them out loud, your brain starts to catch the patterns. You start internalizing the language instead of memorizing it. You might not see results in a day, but you will feel them in a few weeks. Your tongue will move more easily. Your voice will sound more fluent. Your pauses will become smoother. And most importantly, you'll begin to trust yourself more. That's when real growth happens, when you stop doubting and start speaking. If you can stay committed to this one simple practice, your fluency will grow in a way that surprises even you. It's not complicated, it's not expensive, but it works because it's based on action. And all progress starts with action. Not thinking, not planning, doing. So take that book, open that article, and speak. Speak even when you feel unsure. Speak when you're tired. Speak when you feel awkward. That's how you train your voice. That's how you build fluency. With repetition, with honesty, with effort. This habit will change how you see yourself. You'll stop saying I can't speak well, and start saying I'm getting better every day. Because that's the truth. When you speak out loud daily, you are getting better. Not in theory, in reality. And that's what matters. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start now. Your future self will thank you. Because every word you speak today builds the strength you'll use tomorrow. Read out loud daily. Build your voice. Build your fluency. Build the life you want. It's possible. And it begins with one simple choice. To Chapter 4. Record yourself speaking and review your progress. Most people try to improve their English by speaking more, listening more, or reading more, and those are all useful. But there's one practice that separates serious learners from casual ones. It's this. Record yourself speaking and listen to how you actually sound, because when you hear your own voice from the outside, you start to notice things you never realized before. You start to notice how clear you are, how confident you sound, how fast or slow you speak, and which words you keep struggling to pronounce. Recording yourself turns your learning from a guessing game into a powerful mirror of your real progress. When you only speak, you feel your improvement, but when you record and review, you see and hear it. This gives you clarity. It takes away the doubt, and it gives you the evidence you need to grow faster. Every time you hit record, you're creating a record of your effort. You're building a timeline of your development. You're also training your brain to focus with more attention, because you know you're going to listen back. That alone makes you speak with more intention. This is not about being perfect. This is not about sounding like a native speaker. It's about becoming more aware of your speaking style. When you hear yourself, you start to understand your strengths. Maybe your pronunciation is better than you thought. Maybe you use good grammar naturally. Or maybe you notice areas where you pause too often, or use the same words again and again. All of this is valuable. It's not about judgment. It's about feedback. And the most honest feedback you can get comes from your own voice. Start small. Choose a topic you enjoy. Talk about your day. Share your opinion on something you care about. Speak for just 2 or 3 minutes. Use your phone. Press record. Don't try to be perfect. Just speak from your mind. Then stop and listen. This part is important. Listen not as a critic, but as a student. You're not here to feel bad about your mistakes. You're here to learn from them. You're here to grow. When you listen back, notice how clearly you pronounce each word. Are your sentences easy to follow? Do you hesitate too much? Are there moments where your thoughts break? Write down what you notice. Pick one small thing to work on tomorrow. If you are speaking too fast, slow down next time. If you use the same phrase too often, try to learn some alternatives. If you struggled with certain words, repeat them until they come out more naturally. This process is about building awareness. Most language learners guess their progress based on how they feel, but feelings are not always accurate. You might feel nervous, but sound great. You might feel confident, but peep too quickly. The recording tells the truth. It shows you the gap between how you think you speak and how you actually speak. And once you see that gap, you can close it. The key is consistency. One recording won't change you, but 100 will. If you do this every day for a few months, you will be shocked by how much you've improved. You will hear your voice becoming more fluid. You will catch fewer mistakes. You will sound more natural, and you will feel a deep sense of pride because you'll know you earned it. Recording yourself also helps you prepare for real situations. If you're planning to give a presentation or attend an interview, record your practice, then listen. You'll hear what works and what doesn't. You'll have a chance to adjust before the real moment comes. That kind of preparation builds real confidence, because you won't just hope you sound good, you'll know it. This habit also helps you stay motivated. Progress in language learning is often slow and invisible, but when you have a series of recordings, you can go back and listen to the first one. Compare it to your latest one. Hear the difference. Feel the growth. That will give you energy to keep going. It's not about showing others. It's about proving to yourself that your work is paying off. Don't be afraid of how your voice sounds. Many people say they don't like hearing themselves speak. That's just fear. It's just unfamiliarity. The more you do it, the more you accept your voice, and the more you accept it, the more control you gain over it. Confidence comes from familiarity. You cannot master something you avoid. So face your voice, get used to it, learn from it, improve it. This kind of practice turns you into your own coach. You stop depending on others to tell you how you're doing. You stop waiting for correction. You take charge of your improvement, and that kind of independence is powerful. It gives you the freedom to grow anytime, anywhere. You're no longer limited by your environment. You can improve your speaking skills with just your phone and your effort. To make this work long-term, turn it into a daily habit. Pick a time, stick to it. Keep your recordings in a folder. Name them by date. Watch how your speaking changes over the weeks. Don't skip days. Even on days when you're tired or busy, speak for 1 minute. That 1 minute will remind you of your commitment. It will keep your momentum alive. And don't worry if you make mistakes in your recording. Mistakes are good. They show you where you are. They point the way forward. Every strong speaker you admire once made those same mistakes. The difference is, they kept going. They didn't hide from their flaws. They faced them, worked on them, fixed them, and kept recording. You're not trying to become perfect. You're trying to become better. That's the goal. Better pronunciation, better sentence structure, better flow, and most of all, better self-belief. Because when you hear yourself improving, you start believing in your potential. You stop saying, "I'm not good at English," and start saying, "I'm improving every day." That shift in mindset changes everything. So don't wait for someone to push you. Don't wait until you feel more confident. Pick up your phone, press record, speak your thoughts, speak your idea, speak your truth. Then listen, learn, grow, and do it again tomorrow. One small habit, one big transformation. Your voice is your tool. Sharpen it, own it, use it. That's how you become fluent. That's how you become free. Chapter 5. Learn 5 new words and use them in conversation. If you want to grow your English speaking skills, one of the most direct and powerful ways to do it is to expand your vocabulary every single day. Words are the tools of communication. Without the right words, your ideas stay locked inside you. But when you learn just 5 new words a day and make the effort to use them in real conversation, you begin to unlock the part of yourself that's been quiet for too long. You begin to express your thoughts with more confidence and precision. You stop hesitating when you speak. You stop looking for words in your head. You become more free. 5 words might not sound like much, but that's where the magic begins. Learning too many words at once is not useful. You forget them quickly. You don't use them. They just stay on the page. But 5 words, that's manageable. That's something you can truly remember and apply. And when you use those 5 words in real conversations, you make them yours. You don't just know them. You live them. That is how language sticks. Start with words that matter to you. Words related to your job, your interests, your daily life. Don't waste time memorizing complicated terms you'll never use. Focus on what you actually want to say. If you work in customer service, learn words like request, complain, polite, delay, refund. If you're into sports, learn words like compete, stamina, strategy, score, defeat. Make your vocabulary personal. That makes it meaningful. That makes it unforgettable. Once you've picked your 5 words for the day, write them down. Understand their meaning clearly. Not just the definition. Learn how they're used in real life. Find example sentences. Look at how the words work in context. That gives you a clear picture of how to use them correctly. Don't just memorize. Understand. Then take the next step. Create your own sentences. Try using the word to describe your own experiences. That's when your brain starts making real connections. Then comes the most important part. Use the words in conversation. If you're not talking to someone today, speak them out loud to yourself. Talk to the mirror. Talk to your voice recorder. Talk to your friends, classmates, or co-workers. If they're open to practicing, Even if the conversation is short, make the effort to bring up one or two of your new words. Say them, hear them, feel them in your mouth. Every time you do, your memory strengthens. The words become familiar. You start using them without thinking. The goal is not to sound impressive. The goal is to feel in control of your language. When you can describe how you feel, explain your ideas, and connect with others without searching for the right words, everything changes. You stop feeling stuck. You stop feeling small. Your world becomes larger because your voice becomes stronger. That's what 5 words a day can do over time. It's not about big results overnight. It's about steady growth. Some days you'll forget 1 or 2 words. That's okay. Review them. Repeat them tomorrow. Use them again and again until they become part of you. This is not a race. It's a process. 5 words today, 5 words tomorrow. In a week, that's 35 new words. In a month, that's over 100. In a year, that's over 1,000 words you can use in your conversations. And with every new word, you get a little more confident. Don't underestimate the emotional impact of learning new words. Each new word gives you a little more courage to speak up. Each time you use one, your brain rewards you. You feel good. You feel proud. That emotion is fuel. It keeps you going. It reminds you that progress is real. That your effort is working. That you are changing. Some people wait until they feel ready before they speak. But speaking is not about being ready. It's about being brave. Using new words is an act of courage. You might pronounce it wrong. You might use it awkwardly. But every time you try, you grow. You stretch your limits. You become more capable. That's how real improvement happens. Not in silence, but in action. Create a simple system for yourself. A notebook, a digital list, a flashcard app. Whatever helps you stay consistent. Review your words at night. Test yourself during the day. Ask someone to quiz you if you can. Make this part of your daily life, like brushing your teeth or eating a meal. The more automatic the habit becomes, the faster your progress. Use every environment as a learning space. Listen to conversations in English. Watch how others use the words you're learning. Read articles or subtitles to spot them in action. When you see a word you've just learned, you'll feel a spark of recognition. That's a sign it's sinking in. That's a sign your brain is connecting the dots. And don't stop at single words. Learn how those words fit into phrases. Learn how people actually speak. For example, don't just learn the word discuss. Learn discuss an issue. Discuss with a friend. Discuss in detail. Words are not used alone. They live inside sentences. That's how you become fluent, by understanding how words flow together. Celebrate your progress. Keep a list of all the new words you've used in conversations. Look back every week and see how much you've added to your vocabulary. That reflection builds pride. It reminds you that every small effort is adding up to something big. It shows you that your hard work is not invisible. Be patient with yourself. Language learning is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel like you're improving fast. Other days you'll feel stuck. That's normal. Don't stop. Stick with the process. Keep learning 5 new words. Keep using them. Keep speaking them. Over time your speech will become richer. Your voice will carry more clarity. You'll stop hesitating. You'll feel stronger. Remember, this is not just about English. It's about growth. It's about who you are becoming in the process. Someone who takes responsibility for their own learning. Someone who shows up every day. Someone who keeps pushing forward even when it's hard. That kind of person doesn't just learn a language. That kind of person becomes unstoppable in any area of life. So start today. Choose your 5 words. Say them out loud. Write them. Speak them. Use them. Let them shape your voice. Let them build your confidence. Let them remind you of your power to improve and never stop. Your best English is not a dream. It's a decision. One word at a time. One conversation at a time. Keep going. You're closer than you think. Chapter 6. Ask questions in English to train quick thinking. One of the most powerful ways to grow your English speaking skills is to start asking questions in English. Asking questions builds the muscle of quick thinking. It pushes your brain to stay alert and respond fast. It keeps your conversations alive and meaningful. It also trains your ability to listen carefully and respond clearly. Too many learners focus only on answering questions, but those who start asking questions become active speakers. They take control of conversations. They stay engaged. They lead the learning process instead of waiting passively for it to happen. When you ask a question in English, you're not just practicing grammar, you are learning how to think in English. You are pushing yourself to form thoughts quickly and say them clearly. That is the real skill. Fluency is not only about speaking fast, it's about thinking clearly and expressing yourself without delay. That kind of fluency doesn't come from silence or fear. It comes from practice. And asking questions is one of the most direct ways to practice it. Start simple. You don't need complex grammar to begin. Use questions like "What do you think?" or "Why is that important?" or "How does it work?" These questions are short, easy to say, and open the door to real conversations. Use them when you talk with a friend, a tutor, a classmate, or even a stranger if the setting is right. When you ask questions, you show interest. You invite people to speak. You become part of the moment. That kind of participation strengthens your confidence and builds your speed. Asking questions also helps you become a better listener. When you ask a good question, you want to hear the answer. That means you listen with more focus. You start noticing how people speak. You pay attention to their grammar, their pronunciation, their word choice. Every answer you hear becomes a learning opportunity. And because you ask the question, you care more. You're not just hearing words, you're receiving information you asked for. That kind of listening sharpens your understanding faster than passive study ever can. If you find yourself afraid to ask questions, it's often because you're worried about making mistakes. But mistakes are part of growth. The only real mistake is staying silent. You don't have to sound perfect. You don't have to use fancy vocabulary. You just have to speak. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. Asking questions helps you stop overthinking. It teaches you to trust your instincts. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You create it by speaking. You can also use questions to control the pace of a conversation. If you don't understand something, ask for clarification. If you want someone to repeat what they said, ask politely. If you're trying to change the topic, ask a new question. This gives you power in the conversation. You are not just following, you are leading. That kind of confidence grows over time, but it starts with the habit of asking. You can even practice this by yourself. Stand in front of a mirror and ask questions out loud. Then try to answer them as if someone else asked. You'll train your brain to respond faster and build both sides of the conversation. Or write down 10 questions you might ask in real life, at work, at school, at the grocery store, and practice saying them clearly. You'll be surprised at how quickly your mind adapts when you do this consistently. Asking questions also helps you connect emotionally. When you ask someone about their experience, their opinion, or their feelings, you're not just practicing English, you're building relationship. You're learning how to use English to connect with people. That is the ultimate purpose of language. Not just to know it, but to use it to build trust, respect, and understanding. If you are in a learning group or class, become the person who always asks a question. Don't wait until you feel completely ready. Don't overthink it. Just raise your hand and ask. Even a small question can open the door to a big breakthrough. And when others hear you speak, they feel encouraged to speak too. You become a leader by example. When you hear a new word, ask what it means. When someone says something unclear, ask them to explain. When you're curious, speak up. This habit turns every situation into a chance to grow. You begin to take ownership of your improvement. You stop waiting for learning to happen. You make it happen. Over time, your ability to ask sharp, clear questions will improve. You'll learn to be more specific. You'll stop using the same few phrases. You'll start experimenting with different question forms. Who, what, where, when, why. You'll speak with more control and curiosity. Your vocabulary will grow naturally, and your speaking will become more dynamic, because you're not just talking. You're thinking actively in English. Asking questions also builds emotional resilience. Sometimes the person you're speaking to may not understand your accent or phrasing right away. Don't take it personally. Take it as feedback. Adjust your question. Try again. This is how you grow. Every time you bounce back from a hard moment, you get stronger. Your mind learns how to stay calm under pressure. You learn how to keep going even when it's uncomfortable. That's a skill that will serve you for life, not just in language, but in every challenge you face. Make this a daily habit. Every day, ask at least 3 questions in English. It could be with a friend, a coworker, your teacher, or even in an online discussion group. Don't just listen, speak. Don't just understand, participate. That's how you take your learning from passive to powerful. That's how you grow from hesitant to confident. That's how you turn knowledge into ability. If you don't have someone to practice with, use videos, pause after each sentence, and ask a question about what you just heard. Try to guess what comes next. Talk to the screen. Engage with the content. Make it interactive. This keeps your mind active and forces you to respond quickly. That quick thinking builds fluency like nothing else. And don't forget to reflect. At the end of each day, review the questions you asked. Think about what worked and what didn't. Ask yourself what new questions you could have asked. This reflection deepens your understanding and prepares you for the next conversation. The goal is not perfection. The goal is momentum. Keep it going. Asking questions in English is not just a language strategy. It's a life skill. It shows curiosity. It shows courage. It shows that you're willing to grow. Every question you ask is a step toward mastery. Every conversation you lead is a sign of progress. Keep going. Keep asking. Keep improving. Your growth is already happening. Chapter 7. Join speaking groups to improve your social skills. If you want to become a better English speaker, surround yourself with people who are doing the same. One of the most effective ways to speed up your growth is by joining speaking groups. These groups aren't just places to talk. They're places to listen, to engage, to build your confidence, and to grow your social strength. You won't improve much if you keep studying alone in silence. Language was never meant to stay locked inside a book or a screen. It's meant to be used, tested, stretched, and lived. That happens when you join others who are learning too. It happens when you open your mouth and share your ideas with real people in real conversations. Speaking groups give you something more than just practice. They give you connection. They help you understand how people express themselves. They show you how others react when you speak. They help you become more comfortable making mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward without losing confidence. That's where growth lives, in the real-world interactions, where your words meet other people's ears. When you join a group, you're no longer learning in isolation. You're part of something larger. You're hearing different accents, different rhythms, different opinions. This kind of diversity sharpens your listening skills and pushes you to think faster and speak more clearly. In a group, there's pressure to participate. That's a good thing. That pressure forces you out of your comfort zone, and once you get used to it, that discomfort turns into confidence. You don't need perfect English to join a speaking group. You only need willingness. No one is expecting you to sound like a native speaker. What matters is your effort, your presence, and your progress. When you show up and speak, you're sending a message to yourself: I'm committed to improving. That commitment, repeated over time, builds belief, and that belief will carry you forward even when you feel uncertain. In every group, there's an energy. That energy lifts people up. It keeps the conversations flowing. It helps you forget your fear and focus on connection. The more often you show up, the easier it becomes to speak. You'll stop worrying about grammar so much. You'll stop hesitating before every sentence. You'll begin to trust yourself and speak naturally. That's the kind of progress that only happens in action. Not in silence, not in theory, but in shared experience. You also learn from other people's mistakes, not just your own. When someone mispronounces a word or uses the wrong phrase, you recognize it. You learn how to fix it without going through the mistake yourself. That's the beauty of group learning. It multiplies your understanding. You're not just practicing your speaking skills. You're expanding your awareness, deepening your emotional intelligence, and training your mind to be more alert and adaptable. Another benefit is structure. Many speaking groups have routines. They give you topics. They guide the conversation. They give you turns to speak and listen. This kind of structure helps you stay focused. It keeps your energy directed toward growth. It also removes the pressure of always having to come up with something to say on your own. You get prompts, you get support, you get feedback, and that's how you improve, with more speed and clarity. Social skills grow when you place yourself in social situations. That's why speaking groups are so valuable. They force you to listen without interrupting. They help you wait your turn. They teach you how to make eye contact, read emotions, and respond with care. These skills are essential for anyone who wants to become a confident communicator, and they don't develop in front of a textbook or a phone screen. They grow through human interaction. Many people avoid groups because they feel shy. They don't want to embarrass themselves. They're afraid of judgment. But let me tell you this. Every single person in that group has the same fears. You're not alone. And when you face that fear and speak anyway, you inspire others to do the same. You become an example. You create a ripple effect. That's leadership. And it starts with one brave choice: to show up and speak. Consistency is key. Don't just join one meeting and disappear. Commit to showing up week after week. Track your growth. Notice how you feel more relaxed over time. Notice how your words come faster and your confidence grows deeper. Keep a small journal. Write down what you learned from each session. What did you say well? What could you improve next time? These little reflections sharpen your awareness and keep your progress steady. You can find groups in your city at language schools, through community centers, or even online. There are virtual groups happening around the world every day. No matter your schedule, there's a place for you to join. All you need is the courage to take the first step, and once you do, you'll wonder why you waited so long. Another reason these groups work so well is accountability. When others are watching, you try harder. When someone expects you to speak, you prepare more. When you're surrounded by people who are growing, you push yourself to grow too. That's human nature. We rise to the level of our environment. So place yourself in an environment where speaking English is normal, encouraged and celebrated. You'll also make friends along the way. These connections matter. They give you support. They give you encouragement. They remind you that you're not alone. And when learning feels hard, these friendships make it easier to keep going. Sometimes all it takes is one person saying you're doing great to help you believe it yourself. Over time, your vocabulary will expand. Your sentences will become smoother. Your tone will become more natural. You'll speak without thinking so much. That's fluency. And it doesn't happen by accident. It happens through constant, meaningful practice with others. Joining a speaking group may seem like a small step, but it's a powerful one. It teaches you to engage, to express, and to connect. It builds your voice and shapes your presence. It helps you become not just a better English speaker, but a better communicator, a better listener, and a stronger human being. The work you do inside those groups will echo through every part of your life. So make the choice. Join a group. Speak from the heart. Be open to feedback. Show respect. Stay consistent. Watch yourself grow. Language is not just a skill, it's a tool for building your future. Use it with courage, and it will serve you for the rest of your life. Chapter 8. Think in English to sharpen your speaking habits. When it comes to mastering any language, the real transformation begins in your mind. The way you think shapes the way you speak. If you're always translating your thoughts from your native language into English, you're slowing yourself down. You're creating a barrier that makes fluency harder. Instead of processing naturally, you're taking a detour, and that detour creates hesitation, doubt, and awkward pauses. That's why it's essential to start thinking directly in English. This is where your habits begin to sharpen. This is where your speaking becomes smoother and more automatic. Thinking in English doesn't require any special talent. It requires daily intention. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. Every moment is a chance to train your mind. When you see something simple like a cup, label it in English. When you're walking to work, describe your surroundings to yourself in English. When you're planning your day, try thinking about your tasks in English. These moments might seem small, but they add up. They build the mental muscle you need to speak with less effort. One reason many people stay stuck is because they believe thinking in English is too advanced. That belief becomes a mental block. But the truth is, your brain is adaptable. It can adjust faster than you think. You don't need long, complex sentences to get started. Begin with short, clear thoughts. Use the words you already know. Speak them silently to yourself. Describe your actions. Ask yourself questions. Create a little world inside your mind where English is the first language. The goal is not to become someone else. It's to bring out a version of you that communicates with clarity and confidence. When you train your brain to switch into English mode, your mouth begins to follow. Your speaking becomes faster. Your sentences become more natural. You stop reaching for words. They begin to come to you. Most of the fear in speaking comes from the delay between thought and expression. People are afraid of saying the wrong thing. They hesitate, they go back and forth in their mind. But when your thoughts are already formed in English, you remove that delay. You're able to focus more on the conversation, less on constructing every sentence. This gives you a sense of control, and when you feel in control, you speak with more courage. Thinking in English also gives you freedom. You're no longer tied to your native language. You're able to access a whole new part of yourself, one that can respond quickly, one that can express ideas directly. This inner shift is powerful. It changes the way you interact with the world. It makes you more flexible, more creative, and more open. That's the kind of growth that turns you into a real communicator, not just a language learner. One practical way to build this habit is to create daily rituals. In the morning before you touch your phone, say your plan for the day in English. Throughout the day, narrate what you're doing, even silently. If you're cooking, say the steps to yourself in English. If you're commuting, describe what you see. If you're in a conversation, pay attention to how you would respond in English. These little moments turn into consistent practice. Another way to strengthen this habit is to think about your feelings in English. When you're tired, say, "I feel tired." When you're excited, say, "I'm looking forward to this." When something bothers you, express that in English to yourself. By doing this, you connect the language with your emotions. That connection is important. It makes your speaking more real, more grounded. You're not just repeating memorized phrases. You're expressing yourself. There will be times when your mind wants to switch back to your native language. That's normal. It doesn't mean you're failing. It just means your brain is used to what's familiar. Don't judge yourself. Just gently bring your focus back. The more often you redirect your thoughts, the faster this habit will become natural. Over time, your first instinct will be to think in English. That's when your confidence starts to grow deeper. Thinking in English also trains you to simplify. You stop overcomplicating your speech. You stop trying to impress others with big words. Instead, you focus on clear communication. You say what you mean. You get to the point. That's a powerful skill, not just for language, but for life. You don't need hours of free time to build this habit. You just need awareness. A few seconds here and there, a short sentence in your head while you brush your teeth, a quick thought in English while you're shopping. These short bursts of mental effort shape your brain to function differently. It's like rewiring your system. And once it's wired this way, everything becomes easier. You also start to hear English differently. You catch patterns. You notice how certain words are used. Your listening improves because your brain is used to processing in English. That's a hidden benefit of thinking in the language. It trains your ears as well as your mind. And when your ears understand faster, your responses come quicker. Sometimes you'll get stuck. You won't know the word for something. That's okay. Don't switch language. Use the English words you do know to describe it. For example, if you can't remember microwave, say the machine that heats food. This trains you to be resourceful. It teaches you to communicate even when your vocabulary is limited. That's fluency, not knowing every word, but knowing how to keep the conversation going. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. Every day you practice thinking in English, you're building a new version of yourself. One that's more confident, more expressive, and more skilled at connecting with others. And this version of you is already inside. You just have to bring it out through action. When you start to think in English, you stop being a student of the language. You become a user of it. That shift is powerful. It means you're no longer studying English. You're living it. You're using it to see the world, to explain your ideas, to solve problems. That's when your growth becomes unstoppable. So start now. Train your mind. Focus on simple thoughts. Use the English you already know. Don't wait until you feel ready. The act of thinking in English will make you ready. It's a daily discipline, a personal challenge, and the reward is something priceless. A voice that flows with ease, a mind that responds with speed, and a confidence that carries into every area of your life. Chapter 9. Watch English content and copy the expressions used. One of the simplest ways to improve how you speak English is to watch real conversations and copy what you hear. Not just listen for fun, Not just sit back and watch like you're watching a movie to pass time, but to study it, to absorb it, and to practice it out loud. The people you're watching are showing you the exact way English is used naturally, casually, and effectively. They're not giving you textbook lines. They're giving you the tone, rhythm, and structure of how people actually speak in real life. And this is something no grammar book can fully teach you. When you copy expressions you hear in English content, you're not just memorizing, you're learning how to sound like someone who grew up with the language. You hear how they greet, how they respond, how they express surprise, or how they show interest. These small pieces of language are the real tools for fluency. They make your speech smoother, your tone more natural, and your sentences more complete. It's like picking up little keys to unlock everyday situations. Each phrase, each expression, each sentence is a step closer to sounding clear and confident. This approach works because you're training your brain to notice patterns. When you hear something often, like "that makes sense" or "I see what you mean," and you repeat it, you begin to feel the flow of the language. You don't need to think about grammar rules in that moment, because you're copying real communication. You're internalizing it through action. And the best part is, you're learning the language the way children learn to speak, by copying what they hear and using it daily. There's also something deeply motivating about hearing a phrase and being able to use it immediately. It's direct feedback. You say it, it fits, and you realize, I can actually speak like that. That feeling builds confidence, not from a test score, but from experience. It becomes a part of how you express yourself. And the more often you do this, the easier it becomes to hold conversations with others. When you watch English shows, interviews, vlogs, or any kind of real-world content, pay attention to how the speaker uses short, casual sentences. They don't try to be complex. They use simple, direct language. I'm not sure. Let's find out. That sounds interesting. These are everyday expressions, but when used with the right voice and energy, they make a huge difference in how you connect with people. You don't have to come up with your own way to say everything. Borrow what works. Use what's proven. That's what smart learners do. Write down the expressions that catch your attention. Say them out loud several times. Hear how they sound. Feel how they come out of your mouth. If you need to pause the video, do it. Rewind. Replay. Repeat. This is how real improvement happens. It's not passive, it's active. You're not just watching, you're practicing. You're shaping your voice to match the sounds you hear. Another powerful benefit of copying expressions is that it helps you understand tone and emotion. Language isn't just words, it's feelings. When someone says, "Are you serious?" you can tell if they're excited, confused, or annoyed based on how they say it. By copying their expression, you're also copying the feeling. That helps you express your own emotions more clearly in English. You're no longer guessing. You're using real-life models to guide your speech. Some people hesitate to do this because they think it sounds fake. But it's not fake, it's learning. Every musician copies the greats before they find their own voice. Every athlete watches others to improve their own moves. Speaking a language is the same. You copy not to be someone else, but to learn what works and adapt it to your own voice over time. There's also a practical side to this. When you copy expressions, you save time. Instead of building a sentence from scratch, you already have ready-made tools. Think of them as building blocks. You just fit them into the conversation where they belong. That speed helps you speak more naturally. You won't pause as much. You won't get stuck searching for the right words. The words are already there, practiced and ready to go. This method also sharpens your listening. You start to notice small details you used to miss. How the speaker lowers their voice at the end of a sentence. How they stress certain words to make a point. These details matter. They separate someone who just speaks English from someone who sounds confident and engaging. If you want to take this practice to the next level, record yourself saying the expressions you hear. Compare your version with the original. How close is your tone, your rhythm, your clarity? This kind of self-feedback is incredibly valuable. It's honest. It shows you exactly where you are and where you need to improve. And with every repetition, you'll feel yourself getting better. You'll feel more relaxed. You'll start enjoying the way you speak. Another tip is to use subtitles when needed. Watch in English with English subtitles. This helps you connect the spoken word with its written form. You can see the spelling, the punctuation, and the rhythm all at once. Then try watching without subtitles and see how much you understand just by listening. Keep switching between both methods until your ears get stronger. Choose content that reflects real conversations. Movies can help, but shows with real people like interviews, podcasts, or daily vlogs often give you a more accurate sense of how people speak in everyday life. That's where you'll hear the natural pauses, the casual expressions, and the flow of real dialogue. Make this a daily habit. It doesn't take long. 10 minutes of focused listening and repeating can change the way you speak. Do it in the morning, before work, or during a lunch break, or before you sleep. Build a small routine that trains your ear and your mouth to move together. Over time, this becomes second nature. Don't worry if you feel awkward at first. Everyone does. But the awkward phase is temporary. The improvement is permanent. Every time you repeat an expression correctly, you're adding to your skill set. Every time you use it in conversation, you're building real fluency, not the kind that stays in your head, the kind that shows up when you need it most. You don't need a classroom to become fluent. You don't need expensive tools. You just need consistency, attention, and the courage to try. Real growth comes from action. The world is filled with English speakers. Watch how they speak. Copy what works. Say it until it becomes yours. And soon, people will be watching you, not because you copied someone, but because you practiced enough to stand on your own. Chapter 10. Challenge yourself with topics outside your comfort zone. Stepping beyond the familiar can feel uncomfortable at first, but it is the key to real growth. When you challenge yourself with topics outside your usual interests or comfort zone, you force your mind to expand. This stretch creates new pathways for learning and sharpens your ability to adapt. It pushes your language skills into areas you might not naturally explore, making your communication more versatile and confident. The world is vast, and conversations come in countless forms. The more you expose yourself to unfamiliar subjects, the better equipped you become to engage with anyone, anywhere. Avoiding only the safe and easy topics keeps you stuck. Familiar topics provide comfort, but they limit progress. When you stick with what you already know, your brain stays in a routine. This routine feels secure, but it doesn't build new skills. The real transformation happens when you dare to approach subjects that seem difficult or even intimidating. It could be discussing science, politics, philosophy, or even specialized hobbies. Each new topic is a fresh challenge to understand new vocabulary, new expressions, and different ways of structuring your thoughts. When you start talking about something you're not used to, your brain works harder. It searches for words, phrases, and ideas you might not have considered before. This mental workout strengthens your ability to think quickly and articulate clearly under pressure. It is like a gym session for your language muscles. At first, you might stumble, you might pause or forget how to say something, But every time you push through those moments, you grow stronger. Mistakes stop being failures and become stepping stones. Opening yourself up to unfamiliar topics also expands your worldview. Language isn't just words, it's a way of understanding culture, perspectives, and ideas. When you discuss something outside your comfort zone, you learn about how different people think and express themselves. This makes you more empathetic and interesting to talk to. You stop repeating cliches and start sharing original thoughts based on genuine curiosity. To begin this process, choose a topic that feels challenging but not impossible. If you usually talk about daily life or hobbies, try moving into news, history, or technology. Read articles or watch videos on these topics. Don't just passively consume. Take notes of new words and ideas. Then practice explaining what you've learned out loud, even if it feels awkward. Speak slowly and clearly, focusing on getting your point across rather than sounding perfect. The goal is progress, not perfection. Next, find ways to bring these new topics into conversations. Ask questions related to what you've studied. For example, if you've read about climate change, ask others what they think about it. Listen carefully to their answers and respond with your own thoughts. This back and forth strengthens your confidence and shows you how to use new language naturally. You'll notice your vocabulary growing because you're using words in context, not just memorizing them. Another powerful way to challenge yourself is to participate in discussions or debates on topics you find difficult. Speaking in a group forces you to organize your thoughts quickly and respond to different opinions. It's uncomfortable at first, but this pressure builds resilience. You learn to handle interruptions, clarify your ideas, and express disagreement politely. These skills are essential for real-life communication and will improve your fluency dramatically. When challenging yourself, it's important to stay patient and kind to yourself. Growth is a process, and discomfort is part of it. Instead of judging mistakes harshly, see them as valuable lessons. Each struggle is evidence that you're stepping outside your boundaries. Celebrate small victories, like successfully explaining a complex idea or using a new word correctly. These moments build momentum and encourage you to keep pushing further. One practical tip is to set specific goals for your language challenges. For instance, decide to learn and talk about 3 new topics each week. Keep a journal of what you study and how you use the language in conversation. Writing helps reinforce what you've learned and prepares you to speak more confidently. Review your notes regularly and update your goals as you improve. Tracking progress makes the process tangible and motivates you to stay committed. Don't hesitate to use online resources or language partners to explore new topics. Many platforms offer discussion groups, forums, or language exchanges where people talk about a wide range of subjects. Joining these communities connects you with others who are also learning and eager to practice. The shared experience creates a supportive environment where you can experiment without fear. You'll find encouragement, feedback, and fresh ideas to keep your learning dynamic. Beyond vocabulary and grammar, challenging yourself with diverse topics improves your thinking skill. It teaches you to analyze information, form opinions, and communicate clearly, abilities that go far beyond language learning. This mental exercise spills into other areas of life, making you a more confident and well-rounded person. The language becomes a tool for exploration, not just communication. At times you might feel overwhelmed. The unfamiliar can be intimidating, and progress might seem slow. This is normal. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps. Consistency matters more than speed. Every effort to engage with new topics builds your capacity and resilience. Over time, what once felt impossible will become routine. This habit of exploring beyond comfort zones also prepares you for unexpected situations. Life is full of surprises, and conversations rarely stay within predictable boundaries. By training yourself to talk about a broad range of subjects, you become adaptable. You gain the confidence to enter any discussion and express yourself with clarity and ease. Remember that challenging yourself is not about perfection or immediate mastery. It's about willingness and persistence. It's about embracing discomfort as a sign of growth. Every new topic you conquer adds to your toolkit, giving you more ways to connect, share, and understand. The more diverse your language skills, the richer your experience of the world. Finally, keep an open mind throughout this journey. Be curious. Be ready to listen and learn. Accept that language learning is a continuous process. The more you challenge yourself, the more rewarding the journey becomes. You'll discover new ideas, meet new people, and unlock new parts of yourself you didn't know existed. And with every challenge, you build a stronger, sharper, and more confident voice in English.